Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Android App Addicts, episode 491. This is the show where we talk about Android apps, Android hardware, all sorts of cool games, and lately, lots of people with no pants. I am your host, Mark, sometimes known as the Sultan of the Soapbox Cockrell, and I'm proud to be here again after having missed a week, or maybe, I don't even remember. But the guys you're really here to see are Eric, the executive, the great one, the exalted one, the manager, Arduini, and Steve, the DoorToDoorGeek, McLaughlin. Hey, gentlemen.
Hey, Steve. We had things going on last week. I think we all had family Christmas shows and things. The Merge Cube did not take my entire existence away. It didn't morph into something unruly and evil and take over my house and kill me or anything like that. The Merge Cube's still just an average toy at best. And yeah, so no, we're back. I really missed last week though. But family's first.
Absolutely.
Especially this time of year, because you only get to see so many Christmas concerts.
Family first, because they're close enough to kill you.
Okay. Yeah, that too.
Last week, in the 7 days of the week, from Sunday to Saturday, we had 9 different family events of one type or another. Concerts, practices, performances, something or another. Literally more than once a day. It was insane.
I'll just say, and you say you don't drink, you are missing the perfect opportunity, sir. That's all I'm saying.
I believe it was the Thursday that we would have been doing the show. I went and picked my kid up early from school at like 3:45, something like that. I took off early from work, went and picked her up early at school, and we're bang, 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 got back here about 11. And just one thing after another. It was insane.
Yeah, the only thing both my kids' schools did that, I'm going to say this in public, they did smartly, because, I was public school educated. They gave the kids, both of them, a lot less homework multiple days last week, because I think they knew that this stuff was coming from multiple angles for the parents. That was nice.
Yeah, not much homework here either. And they're pretty much done for the year.
Yeah, my daughter took her finals for college, and so she's very happily on Christmas break now.
My oldest freshman in high school, their school literally told her, if you don't have a final on Monday, we don't want you at school. You're just causing problems. So
that's nice.
Show up.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get too many kids that argue that.
Right. So I as I mentioned before the show, a couple of weeks ago, but just before Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving, somewhere around there, I was talking about the Amazon Fire tablets. They had a flash sale, the 7 inches for $29, the 8 inches for $49. As of today, right now, December 14th, 2017, that deal is back. So if you haven't bought a tablet yet and you want to, you can't get a cheaper, higher quality tablet.
Well, I guess it makes sense now why Jeff Bezos was named Employee of the Month at Amazon for those tablet sales.
Wow, that's attaboy, Jeff. Way to come up to the ranks, man. Hey, so what do you think of this deal? The 2016 Amazon Fire HD 8-inch for $29.99, refurbished.
Yeah, see, I'd rather pay $20 to get this year's not refurbished.
Not 8-inch though.
Yeah, the current 8-inch is $49.
Oh, it's $49. Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right.
The current 7-inch is $29.
Yeah, I did score one of the 10-inch ones for $100 when they were $50 off.
Yeah. Yeah, I regret that decision, not having done that. They're $120 right now, so it's still $30 off the regular price.
Not bad.
It's just psychological, though. I can't make myself do it. I have been sitting and staring at it, and I just can't make myself do it.
It's an easy reason why. The 2 is a much more complex character than a 0, and a 0 would just slide through your neurons and say yes.
I guess that's it.
I just got a Chromecast in the mail today, and I'm not sure why. I mean, I bought it, but I can't remember why I bought it. It's one of the new fancy round ones, though. I don't have any of those Chromecasts. Do you remember there being a difference in performance or anything other than the shape change?
I got the first 2 generations of them. They're both round.
No.
Yeah.
Chromecast?
Chromecast, yes.
Yeah, mine looks like a USB stick.
Oh, mine never looked like that.
Yeah, the original ones did.
Oh, okay. Supposedly better network support 2, 4, and 5G, and the new one can also respond to off-network devices with I can't remember if it's subsonic or supersonic sounds that you can't hear.
Oh,
You can still communicate with it and send it things.
okay. I may keep this then. I didn't know if I should give it away as a present or keep it.
I think you got it because one of the devices you got, I think, came with one, but it was a delayed gift with it.
Well, I got the Home Mini coming because of the Pixel 2, but I don't know. Well, anyway, it's here. It's yellow.
Yeah, you're gonna have to sell me on the Chromecast. I don't understand the Chromecast.
It's the Fire Stick without a remote.
But only if you have a phone. I mean, the Chromecast is entirely useless without a phone.
Without a phone or tablet or
Right.
something like that. Or no, you could with the Google Home it works too. You can cast to it straight from the Google Home. You can just say play YouTube Mark Cockrell's rant of the week on Samsung TV, and it'll go over to that.
Yeah, I'm just maybe if I had one I'd understand, but I just don't get it. It seems like an extra thing that provides no benefit to just plug into the back of my TV.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the only thing you have plugged in the back of your TV currently is the cable TV, it adds smart-ish stuff to it.
Yeah.
You can then watch Netflix.
I mean, I have a Roku, and from there I can screen share from my phone. So the very few times that I want to do that, and it is incredibly rare that I have any desire to do that, I have that option, and I just can't see the value of a Chromecast.
Well, you're casting to a Roku from your phone sometimes, aren't you?
That's what I'm saying. In the 3 years that I've had a Roku, I've done it maybe 5 times.
So you always use the remote instead. Yes. I think I had a Chromecast. Well, I take it back. I had a Roku first. I had the very first Roku, and it was slow, and I was frustratingly slow. So then, when the Chromecast came, it was nice because I could go through the menus of Netflix a lot easier on my phone or my tablet, and then just hit a button and throw it at my TV. That's what I did like about it.
Yeah, I use it sparingly because I have my Android home theater computer upstairs connected to the same TV. So the only time I've ever used the Chromecast was for a quick one-off wanting to show the family a YouTube video. And that's really the only use case I have for it. I'm not a big TV guy though, so,
Now, with the big scuffle last week of Amazon and Google, that came to an end today. Amazon's selling Chromecasts again and Apple TVs again.
But Google has not reciprocated yet.
They will.
I'm sure on their devices.
They will. They'll come back. But the thing is, I think, Roku must have just been grinning ear to ear when this whole spat happened, because that just made their device the device for a week. It's like, I mean, not that it's a bad device, or maybe it is still the device, but that set it in stone that was the one you had to buy of the 3 when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, Mark said this now for at least 2 years. What I'll say now is if you crave utter stability and consistency in performance and have an interface that's unbelievably family friendly, nothing I've ever seen competes with a Roku. A Fire Stick is okay, but the Roku is they have the interface down pat.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's some significant limitations to their interface. Like if you're using something like Sling TV or PS View, the fast forward and rewind things are incredibly limited because of the Roku interface. There's no picture in picture. Like you can't watch something and scroll for something else like you could on pretty much any other device. But that's as you put it, all the other things are so good that it's a trade-off worth making for the most part. It is the grandma approval. I mean, literally, my 74-year-old grandma has a Roku.
Yeah.
And
right.
yeah, I mean, she's my mom, a kid's grandma. So it's the grandma approved device. It just works. The only sort of, I started to use a bad word. The only sort of bad thing, annoying thing, jerkish thing that they've done is when the 4th generation devices came out with the remote that you could speak into, they disabled the speaking into the app on your phone. So you used to be able to put the app on your phone, speak into it, and talk to your Roku. Well, when the only selling point of their new device was you can talk to it, they had to find some way to get people to buy the new device. So they disabled that from the app. So that's kind of a jerk move. But in all the years I've had a relationship with Roku as a consumer, that's the really the one.
Yeah, but I'd say, I mean, they did take it away from the other people, but they did offer them an option to get it back.
Yeah, at $50.
Now, the one thing
you can get what you already had.
Yeah, right. The thing I did remember about Fire TV Stick that always in the back of my mind was like, man, this is crappy for this reason. And when Google pulled out or said they were pulling out of Fire Stick, then I'm like, well, good, because for what, I don't know why, but Fire Stick and Amazon has always had the logo for firing up YouTube as a blue square, when that's the only place it's blue. In any other interface you don't see it. YouTube is blue. It's just always been a little knock on YouTube, I think, that Amazon was doing. So I'm curious if that's going to change to an actual YouTube logo like it should be when this all pans out.
I don't know. We'll see. It's all about that branding.
Yeah.
So it is, as of the time of this recording, 10 days before Santa's ride. If you have not bought your presents, don't count on getting them in the mail.
What's the cutoff day for Amazon, you think? Is it still going to be 2-day shipping right up to?
They will promise 2-day shipping, but I don't think that UPS and FedEx can deliver 2-day shipping.
Yeah.
I think that we're probably already past the point where I would be certain that you're going to get your stuff.
I was surprised. I ordered something yesterday, and it came today, and I didn't choose 1-day shipping.
It just happened to be in a warehouse close to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if, yeah. Well, I suppose it is fairly close to me, but there's not anything fairly close to me. But it worked out. That's fine.
All right. Any new hardware to talk about?
I think what phone did I have last time I talked to you, Mark?
You were in between Pixels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do have the Pixel 2. This is my phone. It's small. It's thin. It's got a little glass at the top for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Is that in a case right now?
No case. Going skinless. I've got a D brand coming. Actually, not D brand. I take that back. It's some knockoff D brand. Skinsy. I looked at the reviews. They said they're just like D brand, same 3M material and all. Got that coming and a case coming for it. This is fine. I mean, it's fine. This phone, it's snappy. It seems to perform well. I'm frustrated with one thing though. I mean, ever since I was on my Nexus 5X, I've been on Android 8.1. I got this in the mail and it came with Android 8.0, and I cannot for the life of me get it to upgrade. I tried to sideload it using ADB yesterday and it wouldn't work. It didn't like some kind of signature or something, even though I checked the checksum and it was correct. I don't know. And it should automatically update to 8.1. I'm in the I've gotten in and out of the Android beta program to see if that would push it along. That's my only real complaint at this point, because there's features that I'm missing that I had on all my my last 2 phones prior to this that I don't have now.
So what are you missing?
I can't. I don't know off the top of my head. Just little things. I don't think there's anything. But I've got that thing. I can't just not have 8.1. You know.
You're missing a digit. That's what you're really.
Yeah, I'm missing it. There are things that at first I did. I can't. And, now that I've used it for a week, I can't remember what they were. Honestly, it's like I want them back though, whatever they were. And the new camera processor gets turned on with 8.1, which I don't have yet either.
Have you tried to turn it off and back on?
I turned it off and on. I've factory reset it 3 times.
I'm sorry, Eric. I had to ask. So you're missing the 0.1, and it's obviously eating away at you.
It is.
When you took it out of the beta program, how long did you leave it out of the beta program?
I think I took it out for a couple days.
Oh, okay. So I was going to say, because it might be a time thing where if you put it back in too soon, it doesn't re-register. But
yeah, so it was out of the beta program because I figured, because like on the 5th, I think they opened it up and it started rolling out to pixels, except for mine, of course. But
I think this would be a perfect opportunity for Google Fi customer support dude to go above and beyond and help a brother out.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And so I did the trade-in program, right? I traded in the Pixel XL, and I sent that in, and it got lost in Atlanta, Georgia, of all places, in the mail for a week. It just sat somewhere and never moved. So then they finally got it today or yesterday, and they said they'll have it evaluated in 3 days, and I'll find out how much I'm getting to know for sure. I mean, it should be $405. If not, then I will be calling the Google dude and saying, "Hey, I've already been explained how this was going to go down if it didn't work out the way you guys said it was going to work out. So here we go." And then maybe at that time I will hit them up for a little upgrade too, or some kind of send the signal to my, makes me sound like I'm on a Comcast box and some operator somewhere has to send the signal to my box to reactivate it or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I'll say the only hardware thing I got, the only interesting thing I even saw regarding hardware in the last week was that the Essential Phone total sales numbers was only 50,000, which is bad, quite low.
It had bad press though, right off the bat. I mean, everybody was scared of it.
Well, everybody was saying, but it's Andy Rubin. He's the Android genius and all this kind of stuff. I said it once already a couple weeks ago. I'm going to say it again. Essential as a company will not exist in a year, especially at this pace. They're going to have to do something big. They're going to do something major. They're going to have to sell a lot of hardware, make a lot of money in order to be alive. And right now they're on a horrible pace.
I think if you were to buy that phone today, it's probably a fine phone.
I agree.
Way better than it was when it came out, and they should have just finished that work that they needed to finish.
Yeah, to horribly paraphrase one of the geniuses in the last 40 years, Miyamoto from Nintendo, a early released game is never good. A delayed game can always turn out good. Because once you release a game and it's bad, it will have that stain on it for the rest of its existence. This phone will have that stain on it for the rest of its lifespan. It would have been much better, much smarter. Delay it by a month. Delay it by 2 months if you have to. And then, oh yeah, after delaying it for 2 months, drop the friggin' price to a more reasonable price. And I think the phone right now would have probably sold more.
Yeah, and they were just trying to get in with the Pixel 2, the S8, the Note 8, the iPhone X, the iPhone 8, all of that same, media cycle. They wanted to get a little ahead of all that, and that's where they messed up.
What they needed was a Google Fi customer representative to be in charge of their production and PR. Dude, relax. The phone's coming, man.
Yeah.
Instead of rushing and over-promising.
Yeah.
And
how about you, Mark?
And the point of the Essential Phone. I mean, is there a market for premium phones anymore, really? Most people who have the premium iPhone don't pay for the premium iPhone. They pay their carrier in tiny chunks. Is there really a place for a premium phone that you buy yourself? I mean, the Pixel 2 isn't exactly leaping off the shelves. The Essential phone, which, in all cases was at least set out to be a premium phone, nobody seems to care. I wonder if that is even a thing in 2017 and beyond.
I would have been just fine with the Pixel XL that I had, the used one, until it broke, and I got the other one sent to me, a replacement, and I probably would have been fine with that one. But then with the first one breaking on me, and me knowing that this one was only going to be 100 days of warranty, and for $150, I could upgrade to 2 years of warranty and 3 years of guaranteed updates. That made the difference for me. Otherwise, I mean, I was fine on my 5X until, things happened and I had to get off of our old carrier and get everybody in my family a Google phone. So it's the 5X, not a superstar in any means, was just fine for me though.
I mean, the company, for people who buy their own phones, you're looking at Huawei, you're looking at OnePlus, you're looking at Motorola. And the people who buy phones from their carrier are looking at Apple and Samsung.
And Google does it both ways. You can now finance it through Google too with no interest.
Well, and it depends on the country and the carrier.
All right.
Huawei over in the UK is something you can buy. OnePlus in India you can buy from your carrier. So it matters where you're at. And I'll say the premium phone thing, Mark, what I want to say is, yeah, you can do it, but the planets need to be in alignment. You have to be able to make a hell of a profit on each device because you're not going to sell millions of them up front. But 2, you need to have utter finesse and charismatic control of that hype machine and get it in the right people's hands early, whether it be, Kanye West, Ellen, whoever, whatever celebrity, whatever TV star, whatever sports celebrity, you would literally have to get it in their hands months ahead of time, and you would have to know how to spin that hype machine to make people actually desire it. And this guy did nothing. This guy came out on stage basically saying, "I'm Andy Ruman. I'm the guy that started Android." And 99% of people said, "So?"
Right.
So
yeah. So I'm the guy. I bought a $60 tablet at Walmart and it sucks. It has Android. Why do I like you?
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's possible, but damn, it ain't easy.
Let's not forget the phone he released was the G1, which was a crap bag, but it was the first open source crap bag.
Well, his first successful device was the Danger Hip Top, which I will say back in the day, that phone was nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. In hindsight, it was unbelievably kitschy. And you look at it and it looks old. It looks like something from the 90s because, it was.
All right. I have some new hardware, but I can't talk about it until after Christmas.
Well, that's, I'm glad somebody's getting something.
I will say I did not go with a premium phone because fact is most people don't need a premium phone. However, this is called Android App Addicts. So maybe we should talk about an app or two. We got a little bit of listener email to read a little later on, but let's jump right into the apps. Door, it's your show.
Okay. First app I'm going to bring is going to be an unusual one for me, and I honestly believe it's a repeat, but I don't care. I'm bringing it anyway because now it's a quote unquote real thing. This has a name that just literally rolls right off the tongue. Father.io AR FPS. It just rolls right off the tongue. Here's the gimmick. you need an extra piece of hardware for this to even work. The piece of hardware costs $39. It was more. So now it came down to 39. And what I'm going to guess is if you go to camel.com, which everyone should know about, you go there, you copy paste the URL for this item into camel. You create a free account, and then you put in a target price of, let's say, $20 or $25. And when the price drops to that number, you'll get an email alert, and then you can buy them. Okay, now rewind. Father IO to me is a very interesting game that would probably, in most places in the United States, get the cops called on you, and they'll have a lot of questions for you. I'm just throwing that out there. Because the point of this game is you and a bunch of friends go outside in the real world, connect these devices to the exterior of your phone. These devices, I believe, do both shoot infrared lasers and catch infrared lasers. And then you make squads up or teams up, and then you go around and use your phone as if you're in a first-person shooter in the real world. So I love the idea of this. I love the use case of it. I think it would be fun to actually be involved in it because you're actually having to walk the real world and do stuff. But I'm 99% sure you're going to get the cops called on you because you're going to look very suspicious and weird.
This game, it's got a great, okay, this game has a video, but the video is really good. Watching this video makes me think it's a combination of laser tag and Ingress.
Very good description, Eric.
So you can't get shot in the back is what it looks like, right? If the sensor's on the front, you can't ever get shot in the back.
Well, they don't say explicitly that. That's what I have to believe, unless it's shooting a laser, using your compass, using your GPS, and knowing that you're hitting in that direction. Now, if it does that, then you don't have to be pinpoint accurate.
Yeah, then it just knows that it's shooting out the front, though. With that device, it knows we're using your camera at the same time. It should figure out that. Yeah, that's probably how it works, Dory. If you're close on the shot, on the receiving end of the shot, you'll get hit, but it has to shoot out the front of that device, that thing, to go forward rather than shoot behind you.
It's a clever idea. I'd love to try to play it.
Let's do it.
We need some pretty strong lasers, Eric. We're like 100 miles away from each other.
It's going to be a hard time getting enough people together to do it. You can get up to 16 versus 16 team matches, or a 32 free for all.
Yeah, 16 by times 16. Okay, so it's 16 plus 16 times $40. That's all I'm saying.
But you know what? I've got 4 people in my house who all have Android phones now. And we've got a big yard. But I've also got 4 laser tag guns that don't ever get used also.
Yeah, and if you buy your kid a laser tag sort of thing, it's about $30. I mean, this is not off of that. But of course you have to have a $600 smartphone to make it work.
Yeah, but laser tag takes about $600 worth of batteries every time they do get taken out. It's like 8 batteries per gun. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Here's what I would love to do. I literally would love to buy one of these for somebody smarter than myself and have them literally tear it into pieces and see how it actually works. Like, is there a Bluetooth connection to the phone? If that answer is no, that simplifies the process. If all it is just shooting out a steady laser the entire time, then my logic is we could probably make these things for $8, $10 maybe.
Shariah Khan is very disconcerted. Amazing game, but it's incompatible with Windows Phone. Oh.
Oh, jeez. Well, give it a couple months. You won't have to worry about that, Shariah. Fall down once, you'll not be able to replace that phone. You'll get something that works.
Yeah, I'm just trying my best not to laugh at him. That's all I'm saying.
I already did. I'll have to add them for us. Yeah, this is a great app, man. This is one I would almost pull the trigger on just to get outside. But I know I won't use it for another 3 months now because it's frozen out there and I'm not going anywhere by it. I will have to keep a camel on this. Is that where you get it at? Is on Amazon? You buy the unit for it?
That's the place right now I know where you can buy it. When I try to go to their site, there's no buy link whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eyes on this. Father EO ARFs. It's like, it kind of reminds me of some like radio station that was like the armed forces or I don't know. Armed Forces Radio and Television Station.
Reality first-person shooter. I'm pretty sure that's what that means.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, the radio station ended up being AFARTS.
Nice.
When you took all the letters together.
So just, were you northern people laughing at us southerners when we got some snow?
Yeah. How did that whole Atlanta get shut down over 1 inch of snow go? That's pretty neat.
I got 11 inches of snow in my yard.
Oh, you did? 11?
And I don't care where you're from, 11 inches of snow is nothing to laugh at.
No, that's no fun at all. You even have a snow shovel?
Oh, no, there's not one in the whole country. I was using a plain old digging spade to shovel my driveway with. I did get to redneck out and use a chainsaw to cut up some tree limbs. My neighbor's pretty much the top half of his pine tree snapped off.
Well, you've got the beard for it.
Yeah, it was great. We were outside the day after getting 11 inches of snow, just sitting or standing really because it was too cold to sit, standing out around listening to tree limbs just snap all around us.
Yeah.
So anyway, I knew that you guys were probably waiting to razz me about the tiny little bit of snow. This turned out to be a massive thing. Everybody, the newscasters, the weather guys were all saying, you're going to get your usual 2-inch dusting. It's not a big deal. Don't run out to buy milk and bread. It's not a big deal. And then it just kept coming and it kept coming and it kept coming. It rained or snowed for like 19 hours straight. And it just kept coming. And so when it was all said and done, I took my old yardstick out and stuck it in the ground and we had 11 inches of snow in my front yard.
So did you like 2 days later have a snowball fight and it's 70 or something like that?
There's still snow in my front yard right now. Yeah. And it's been in the mid 50s every day since. So the next morning I had some ice melt in my garage. So I used a 5-pound bucket of ice melt to get out of my driveway. And I'm the last house on the street on the cul-de-sac. So I had to clear about 1/8 of a mile up to the road so that we could get out. But, I spent most of the afternoon doing it, but I was able to. It has already started to melt enough by then. So we were only trapped in the house just the one day. So all the roads are dry, but in shady areas, there's still snow. And so the kids are coming home from school and playing in the snow. It's kind of
shady cool. Areas. You mean like they don't?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Parts of town where just areas where there's a lot of shade.
Oh, okay.
Suspicious looking trees.
Oh shoot, man! What was I gonna say? Did you when you were trapped in the house? So did you get your Christmas tree up and all the decorations inside the house done? Get some
that was already done.
Wrapped?
Yeah. See, I sat by the fire and did pretty much nothing. It was it happened. It came in late Friday, so I didn't miss any work or anything. I happened to be working from home that day anyway. And so all day Saturday, I just sat by a roaring fire and my kids came in every 20 minutes soaking and freezing and changed clothes and warmed up by the fire and went back out. And, it's kind of how it's supposed to be, right?
Nice. Gas fire or log?
It's a wood fire with a gas starter. So it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's great.
So I could take snow-covered wet wood, throw it in there, turn the gas on, and it'll burn eventually.
Yeah.
So anyway, just thought I'd throw it out.
Cool.
So Eric, what app do you have for us?
So I've got a trio of apps this week that I'm going to bring just for the the people to show off to their friends and family when you guys are done talking to Aunt Ruth about, her body issues and stuff, and you could get away and show your little cousin these weird.
I'm already worrying, Eric. I am already worrying.
The first app I'm going to bring is called Space Sloth, and it's from Kevin and Kim. It's an arcade game. E for Everyone contains ads. I don't know about E for Everyone because some of the language in it's not really appropriate, but I don't know. They've slid through. They got okay, I guess.
Oh, there's multiple space sloths in the market, and there's no link. Oh, there it is.
Well,
okay.
All right. There's a link in the.
Well, then just a warning to everyone. There's multiple ones there. This one is by.
This will be the one that shows a sloth, a Barack Obama, and an ape.
I don't even know how to process that.
The icon is a sloth with an astronaut suit. Appropriately, because it's Space Sloth.
I am so blind, Eric. For a split second, I thought it was Nicolas Cage.
I think he shows up later, actually.
There's
my mind.
Is there a video? No, there's just a big play-looking button like there is a video. So that's how good the escape apps. So I'm going to pick my phone up here, and I'm going to have to play this for you for a little bit just to give you an idea. Basically, you have a bunch of planets spinning around with people's faces on them for some reason, and it's got some really dreamy music, and it really gets going after a while. But like President Putin from the Soviet Union or whatever they're called now. So basically, you've got this sloth, and he hangs on to the planets, and you have to press the button at the right time. I totally failed on the demo.
You did.
You have to press the button at the right time to fly him over to the next one. Then he sticks to that and spins. It's really fun.
Okay, so why are you showing this to people? I'm just wondering.
Because it's a goofy game. It's a fun, really weird, goofy game. One of the weirdest games I've ever played. And I've played some weird stuff. This is one of the weirdest. Not as weird as my next game that I'm bringing, though. But just say,
let me just read the description. It's short and it's kind of awesome.
Okay.
Have you ever been told that you cannot fulfill your dreams? To stop reaching for the stars? In our opinion, the time has come for a last stand. A last stand for men's rights to dream. Let your hearts be filled with joy as you unruffle your jimmies in this beautiful, realistic, and absolutely low-budget space sloth simulator. This game gives you the opportunities in life that you never had. Dreaming, reaching, sloth space simulation, close-ups of never-before-seen planets, and much, much more. Not really. Mysterious and ancient powers await the ones who can reach far enough into space. Do you have what it takes? Do you dare to go where no man has ever gone? Can you reach your dreams? For reals, though, this game is quite resource-intensive and may not run smoothly on low-end devices.
Oh, maybe that's why it runs pretty good on mine. And I've had it on a couple devices now.
I'm just going to say, Kevin and Kim, creators of this game, you're welcome. Mark just took your description and made it credible.
I'd say it's accurate. It's not as hard as I'm making it look, but playing it upside down is difficult.
Having a planet that looks like Kanye West is difficult enough, Eric.
Yeah, there's Kanye West. Now, I did have, and I don't know why, a random lawnmower did. I got really far on one of the times I was playing it, and a random lawnmower showed up, and I'm not exactly sure why it did or what its purpose was.
And for some reason, there's gravity in space because you're falling down when you go up too high. Which I don't know what the hell kind of space this guy's in.
Well, you're falling toward the planet. The planet is a gravity.
No, you fall down eventually. If you fling yourself too far up, you fall down. Door's correct.
Okay, I give that one 2 out of 10, Eric.
2 out of 10.
Yeah.
Stars?
Because Putin.
Because it's space
and Obama. Yeah. How old is this app? I mean, where's Trump and Kim Jong-un, the two herald wonders of the world?
This was last updated March 25th of 2015.
Oh, well then, there you go.
Yeah.
Less than 100,000 installs. I can't imagine why.
Vintage.
Mighty Eric. Okay.
4.5 star reviews on average.
So sometimes it takes a while for the best cream to rise to the top. Way to go, Kim and Kevin.
It's like a train wreck. I can't stop watching it.
You have to install it just to to know. Yeah, you think they would do an good point though. They should do a Space Sloth 2 with updated characters on the planets.
Oh, very slothy updates, says the chat room. Nice. Let's do 2 more, Dorian and Eric, and then we'll get to some email goodness.
I'm going to bring what is technically in some ways an oldie but a goodie. This app comes via our Google Plus Android App Addicts community. Thank you very much. I want to say Stephen Gilligan was the guy that brought it, and he has the name Gilligan, which immediately makes me a fan of his because, I watched that show a lot as a kid. It says free to install. You cannot play the complete game though unless you buy it, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and it's $4.99. This is by Sega, and it's Streets of Rage Classic, where you can play as the classic characters Adam, Axel, and Blaze.
Nice.
This works perfect with a Bluetooth controller or in the GPD, the GPD XD I have, which is the Game Boy-like handheld hardware. Just runs exactly like you expect it to, and as it should play. To me, this is a perfect port from what I can tell of the old game. Just plays exactly like it.
See, this is one of the games I hope is on the Amazon App Store, because I'd pay $1 or $2 or $4 or whatever it is on there to have it on my Fire Stick, because the Fire Stick should be able to play this no problem.
I agree.
This was just a ripoff of Double Dragon, right?
Well, it's hard to say. See, there's a lot of games that came out just around the same time. It's hard to say who took what from who. In actuality, I believe, technically speaking, they're all ripoffs of Fighting Street, which is the first Street Fighter game.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe they all stole aspects of that. But this was one of the first ones in my eyes that hit it big, and it was right after, I believe, Double Dragon. And in the arcade, that was a ballistic hit.
Mm-hmm.
The combat was definitely a touch more intricate in this game. This to me was much closer to being like Final Fight, which in itself was supposed to be Street Fighter 3. So yes, they're all around the exact same formula of gameplay. You have a couple buttons: power move, jump button, and a speed type button where power attack, speed attack, hit them both, you do super attack kind of thing. This game, I say, was a hell of a lot of fun, and it does have, unlike its predecessor, the ability to instant save at any point. So you can play it in line at any point, hit the save icon, and then go back to it at any time and start exactly where you left off. There is some kind of local Wi-Fi multiplayer support, which I did not even know it was there. So I'm tempted now to have my son put it on his and see if we can both play, but we each have our own screen, and we beat people up.
Hey, Doris, speaking of the GPD and games like this, you've had that GPD for a while now. Are they still moving forward? And anything?
Hell no.
There?
That thing's still on gingerbread. And guess what? Still runs 99.99999% of everything I tried to run on it like butter. And it still runs like the first day I got it.
You think like the Nintendo Switch made them just give up? You think?
No, they're a for-profit driven company that right now it's still hard to get it at the price I paid for it. I paid $140 for it. It's still about $150 because I got it on a ridiculous sale. The GPD XD2 was supposed to come out. I don't know if it ever did. But I don't think the Switch is really going to hurt any of those manufacturers making these small portable handheld systems. If anything, it's going to give people who can't afford a Switch a cheaper alternative option. Of course, lesser games on it, but it's of a lesser price.
I know 8-bit is all the hotness these days, but these VGA graphics, they're what warms my heart. It's just the look, the style. That speaks to me right there.
If it makes you feel any better, Mark, I'm 99% sure the days of that honeymoon are just about over. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to go back very shortly to wanting higher end graphics.
That's why we got the Xbox X. Great name.
I'm sorry for you. But did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Congratulations.
No, I can't say. No, I don't personally have it. We as a country.
All right, Eric, what have you got for us next?
Well, just very similar app, oddly. My next goofy app of the week is a fighting game similar to what Door just brought. This is called Sausage Legend Fighting Game, and it's by Milk Company Limited. You're probably going to have to watch the video for this one. Basically, it's kind of like Street Fighter. It's 1 versus 1, just fighting, but instead of people, it's different types of sausages, and you can rise up and upgrade your sausage to I even had fish sausage as one of my weapons. Basically, it's a sausage with a fork stuck in the end of it, and you have to swing it at the other sausage.
Eric, I think your sausage is bigger than mine.
The video tells it all, and it's exactly the gameplay. You just you got to hold down on the screen to build your power up, and then you let go, and it just flings out and attacks the other sausage.
Eric, can I ask you just a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there anything you'd like to talk about?
I like to talk about apps. Sometimes I talk about beer, country living, camping. Those are a few of my favorite things.
Is there anybody in particular that you're like really excited to show this sausage flap fest to? I'm just wondering.
I think this is a great conversation starter. And
it's going to start some conversations
or changer. If you need to change the conversation, this is a great app.
Remember, it's like the sausage. It's how you wield it.
It's like, hey, you got two drunk cousins, and they're about ready to throw down. As Christmas would have. Like, hey, you guys want to fight? Hold on a second. Let me show you this great fighting app. That my friend Eric. And then it'll de-escalate any situation like that. Great for Christmas.
So if people are arguing over politics or religion or sexual orientation or identification or I'm offended.
Yes.
Say, no. I don't think you know what offended means. Come here. Let me show you what offends sausage is.
Let me show you offense sausage.
The description says 45 world sausages created with a physics engine and are available. 45 world sausages created with a physics engine are available. Realistic and beautiful 3D graphics. 2-player game. Obtain all the legendary sausages and bring peace to the world.
So you can bring the German sausage and the Latino sausage, and they can hash out their cultural differences via blood sport. That's how I'm going to define this application.
Yeah, Touch Arcade says, Sausage Legend is the sausage battling game that we deserve. I think that's all.
If this was only Wi-Fi multiplayer, that would be even better. If your game has that up on this one for sure.
Well, perfection is something that only few applications can achieve in everything, and maybe this app just already had too many perfect things and they didn't want to overwhelm everybody.
True. That's true. It's got a lot going for it.
Oh, it does.
There's a review here that I'm not sure I can read without crying.
Okay.
I'm going to try though. Cheshire Doge says, "This game is awesome. I must have blown 10 hours on it by now. Amazing stuff. It seems like a shallow tap and hold game at first, but there really is a lot of depth to it. You have to learn how each individual sausage moves due to the shape and floppiness. how to time your strike so that you can hit the other sausage and not get hit at the same time. My only reservation is that sometimes the graphics or something screw up and the sausage becomes a gigantic tangled mess. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like a glitch, but keep up the good work. I weep for humanity as I read that.
Well, I think I agree with In the Tub in our chat, where you can join live in the chat if you go to podnutz.com and click on live Android App Addicts. He states, I think this is how World War I started.
Honestly, the sausage fight is probably how most world wars start. Or any war. Well, all right. Anyway, you and your cousins can all be sausage legends this year.
I don't want to see my cousin sausage. I just don't. It bothers me that it's a 2-player game. So you have to be really intimately close to somebody to play this 2-player game on a phone. And then you're handling your sausages in that close proximity.
I'm just going to say, if your sausage are touching, I don't think intimacy is the last thing you're worrying about.
I've only played against the computer. I've never played 2-player.
You've never battled another man's sausage?
No.
Wow. So let's thank some listeners for their Patreon pledges. As is our policy, we don't say last names, but Lane, thank you for your pledge. Christian, thank you for your pledge. Divier, thank you for your pledge. And Greg, thank you for your pledge. You guys literally are the thing that keeps this show going, and we appreciate it so much.
Yeah, and there's a quick Patreon thing. If you listen to a lot of podcasts, like, some of us do, right now I believe I'm up to 139 different podcasts. If you listen to as many podcasts as I listen to, you would have heard in the last couple of weeks, people completely freaking out. Now, really quick tangent, sorry. To define America right now to people from a different century, decade, or country, the number one word to use is offended or overreact. That's just how I define America right now. Everybody was unbelievably overreacting to Patreon stating that they were going to change how payments were going to work. And if you think from their point of view, they're trying to encourage higher pledges from everyone, and they were trying to satisfy the people getting the highest number of high pledges. In their business interest, it made a lot of sense to do that. Me as a user, I saw this coming across because I pledged other people as well. And I didn't change any of my pledges because my logic was they said it was coming. They didn't say it was done. They said it was coming. So I purposely said, let me wait a month or two at the most, and let me see what happens, because this seems like it might actually, affect people. Less than a week and a half later, the president himself on Patreon says, I've spoken to many creators in the last week, and we are not making this change. So what I hope people realize is slow down. Like, to quote back in the day, play like Roy Rogers and slow down. Okay. Just because a company says that they're thinking about doing something, don't flip out like they already did it and it's literally hurting you. Because the real thing is, to knee-jerk reaction to something like this, you're not hurting Patreon. You're hurting the creators. Secondly, every other service in the universe, if you donate $1, takes an equal amount that Patreon was going to take. So all Patreon was doing was making their numbers closer to every other platform's numbers, including PayPal. But because everyone's reactions now, they can't do that. So they panicked and they reversed. Now I worry about Patreon as a company in the long term. I'm sure they're making money. I'm still sure they're making a lot of money, but I'm also sure that they haven't done anything wrong that I can tell for years that I've known them and been associated with them. I'm okay with paying people who enable me to share content, meet other people, and promote my content. So if you want to support Podnutz, I still say Patreon is the #1 way to do it, because you get your name on an official book, if you will. You then can communicate directly with me and other show hosts through that platform, and you can communicate with other people who hold similar values to yourself. That's hard to duplicate in other places. If you just go to PayPal and give me $1, it's like walking by the homeless guy and dropping $1 in his cup and you're still walking. Some people prefer that. I personally don't. And just to end that rant, my podcast stats, podcast listening time, 299 days, 7 hours today, 14 hours yesterday, 17 hours this week, 3 days last week, 4 days, December, 9 days, November, 20 days, 7 hours worth of listening. Because, the show's called Android App Addicts, not Android App Novices or, something.
So basically, we have an email that covers some Patreon, and I'll go ahead and read that. But essentially, Patreon wanted to move the fees from the receiver to the payer, as it is, as you alluded to, Dor, is very common in a lot of things. And that's fine if you're pledging a pretty good chunk of money across a lot of different creators. But if you're a guy pledging $1 to one creator, that essentially doubled your pledge, and that was that made people upset, understandably. It's just a case of unintended consequences, not so much malice. They just didn't think in that terms. They thought, well, creators would like to get more money, and patrons like to support creators, so let's have the patrons pay the fees, because that's what patrons do. They pay fees. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. And in that terms, it did make a lot of sense, until they actually ended up hurting a lot of their creators as people left Patreon in a rage fit. Eric, you had some thoughts?
No. You guys described everything just fine. No, I'm good. I probably had some smart butt comment about Microsoft in there or something.
All right, well, let me read an email from Christian here as he comments on that as well, and he provides an app. Awesome when you guys do that. He says, first off, season's greetings to everyone. It's been another great year. Dor, Eric, great job. Mr. Sultana, you took all the fun out of trying to trip you up. You appear to have a laser-guided tongue and can read a review or feedback letter without dropping a syllable. Steve C was so much more fun. While my app selection has settled to pretty much the best of the best, last episode's Focus Go suggestion was superb. I promptly installed it on my LG G6, and after listening to the show and excuse me, the laser got me. I promptly installed it on my LG G6 after listening to the show, and when I used it, it was even better than you had led me to believe. I did find one app I don't think you guys have mentioned yet, and it's probably going to appeal to Dor mostly, if at all. It's the Thingiverse, and for 3D printer user who finds him or herself with a few seconds to spare, can fire this up and be in Thingiverse land without any wasted time. Is it better than a browser? I don't know, but at least you haven't reviewed it yet. So here you go, Mark. Thingiverse 1.5.2. Regarding Patreon, Patreon has decided to apply a new pay structure that appears to benefit Patreon more than it benefits the creators, in my personal view. I have little money to share these days, but I will share what I have with those who support me and entertain me, such as the Podnutz Network. While I liked the Patreon model, it did make it easy for me to dole out what few shekels I have, still trying to trip that Mark guy up. I feel that Patreon, with its new pricing structure, has made my measly donations significantly less effective, or more costly, depending on how one looks at it. True, the creators will now get 95 cents out of a $1 donation, but the actual Patreon, me, will have to pay Patreon $1.37.9 for the creator to get up to that 95 cents. To me, this was not acceptable, as I would have to reduce my donations in order to pay the increased fees that Patreon wants. A creator whom I do not particularly care to support, as they do very little for me. I have been exploring other avenues of donating my few pennies, and I do not intend to sit on my fortunes. All the best. Looking forward to more AAA shows and other good things in 2018. Regards, Christian, a.k.a. Captain Perhaps Filthy, but not Rich 0.
I think Christian upped his Patreon after being so broke there. He upped his Patreon amount for us. So thank you. He may be one that's hanging out in the chat tonight too, I believe.
Yes. I'll say part of the reason why he gets no benefit from Patreon is my fault. Well, and what I mean by that is Patreon's structure is near aggressively pushing the idea of make this a paywall, put special shiny things behind this to tempt people to come join. The Podnutz model of livelihood and humanity first dictates you put as little behind a paywall as possible. You make as much as what you make free for consumption to anybody from the tip of Africa to Japan, everywhere in between and everywhere opposite. Don't put things behind a paywall. So nearly everything I post to a Patreon posting is also out there in the public sector. So there's very little benefit for someone to actively join us on Patreon and then follow each posting I make because they already have access to it in their normal RSS feeds. Because of that, Patreon is less rewarding, I'll say, than it was designed to be. So I take blame for that partially, and I'm partially proud to take blame for that.
Well, I think they're still trying to get Mark a 3D printer because they want that swag. I think that's part of it. And speaking of Patreon, since we don't just so we don't have confusion next week, within the last 5 minutes, Deborah had just pledged $5, so that they keep coming in.
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah.
And I will say, I even said it. I was going to make a video showing how to do Android instant apps. Every single time I disabled instant apps, started a screen recording, enabled instant apps, the damn things weren't working. Then I would stop the screen recording, and 20 minutes later, instant apps would start working again. So I wanted to show the actual act of joining instant apps, enabling instant apps, doing a search, and then launching an instant app. So it looks like I'm going to have to separate it out.
Well, I may be able to help you with that too, Dor. Let me, I don't even know how to do the instant apps yet.
Just, well, it isn't enabled on your phone then. It isn't a opt-out thing that you have to go in and disable. You have to actively go in and enable it for it to even start to work.
I'll check it out. I've looked.
But yeah, and I'll just take this opportunity to say, Christian, to thank you for all the support. He's one of those guys who has literally supported Podnutz for years in multitudes of ways. Like Ivor stated in the past, he supported me with unquestionable levels of support in email alone to just help keep me distracted from working a 9 to 5 and, stuff like that kind of thing.
Yeah, this is a good release for us. I'll tell you, we enjoy doing this show.
Speak for yourself. I hate every second of it, but I do.
Well, we can tell that, but
I do it for the riches and the glory.
Right. There's a lot of coin, so
So we've got a couple of more emails that we can read, and of course we always can bring more apps. We're past an hour already, so you guys want to hit the emails and slack up on the apps, or dive into the apps and come back to the emails later?
Sure.
Of course, the answer is sure.
Dealer's choice.
None of my apps are time sensitive. I'll say that.
Nor is mine. And my last Goofy app is not nearly as goofy as the other two. So no, go for the emails, Mark.
All right. So we'll read this first one by Michael, who says, "Great show, guys. I listen to it every Monday morning as I get ready for work and would like to support the show financially. Do you know if there's a way I can donate my Google opinion rewards to the show? Just a thought, especially for those listeners who might not have the finances to donate. Keep up the good work. P.S. Have you considered reviewing any Android Wear smartwatch apps? I can't find any podcast which reviews Android Wear apps." So let me address the last part first. The reason you don't hear anybody talking about Android Wear apps is there are no good Android Wear apps. There just aren't. The only one that I use at all. I mean, other than extensions of apps that are already on my phone, is my radar, and it lets me pull up a weather radar on my phone, on my watch. I mean, and that's pretty cool. If I'm, in an area and I'm checking on the weather, I can do that. Otherwise, I use no apps on my phone, on my watch, other than extensions of apps, Voxer, Hangouts, whatever, that are on my phone. I have just never found a compelling Android Wear app that's worth talking about. What do you think, Eric?
Well, I haven't been bringing Android Wear apps because I just finally got my new band on my watch. So I have been wearing it more often, but then every time I reset my phone, I forget to reset my watch. So now I was going back and forth in this email chain with Michael, and he gave me an app called, he said that this is a killer app. It's called Wearable Widgets by Udell Enterprises. So I have not tried it out yet, but I will the next time and I'll probably sync my watch up to my phone again tonight, get it back on there and check out this app. But basically you can take any widget from any app and make it work on your phone with this. Is the way I think he described it to me. It says put virtually any home screen widget from your phone onto your smartwatch or Google Glass. Supports Android Wear, Samsung Gear, and Sony smartwatch.
And maybe I'm just a wrong audience for this sort of thing. A 1.75 inch screen real estate is not valuable for much. And I bought my smartwatch to be a watch that is smart. I like getting notifications on my watch. I like being able to answer and hang up on calls from my watch. I like to be able to do very basic triage things, talking to it, sending a quick text. But I don't need or want widgets on my watch. I don't even have a complicated watch face that has all kinds of bits on it. My watch face tells me the time and the temperature and the date, and that's about it. So maybe I'm just the wrong curmudgeon to be looking for Android Wear apps.
To that point, I mean, the weather widget is a good one, I think is useful. One other thing I've used when I'm on business trips and I'm walking around downtown places, I will use Google Maps on my watch so that I don't have to pull my phone out to figure out how to get to someplace when I'm walking in a downtown setting. That works really well to take, tell you to take a left up here at the next road when you're walking around. I do like that.
Yeah, but that's an extension of an app on your phone. That's not an app on the watch.
Sure.
So yeah, that is handy. As I'm driving, my watch buzzes at me and I look at it and there's an arrow telling me to turn left. That's super cool. But it's just an extension of what's running on your phone, not a thing that's running on your watch.
Right. Well, yeah, and this is kind of the same thing, I'm going to say, with just a touch more elegance is the way that I'll put it. The watch he said he's using is the ZTE Quartz. And when I went and looked at it, I'm not going to lie, I thought that's not a bad looking actual watch. Let me go see how much these things are. And they were only sold by T-Mobile, and T-Mobile don't sell them anymore. And I can't find them used anywhere for purchase because I stopped and thought, I haven't thought about wearable things for a while. I had like 2 out of the first 3 watches that came out for at least a short period of time. And at that point in time, not a watch guy at all. I constantly break them. I can't wear them around the house. I can't do things with the kids with them at all. So I just they weren't for me. Now at work, I'll just put it this way. In my attempt, they told me to dress for the job. Don't, how does the saying go? Dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Correct.
And when I came dressed in like Wonder Woman, they sent me home. So I changed what I came in dressed as. And I do think a watch would go well with that outfit. So when I saw the ZTE Quartz, I thought that might actually fit with it, but I can't find the damn thing. And I'm not spending $200+ on what amounts to an extremely low-end device with an extremely small screen and an extremely small battery. So right now I don't have one, but this widget's functionality actually looks like it might be almost desirable. I'm not
and you don't have to wait for heart issues to start using the heart rate functions on some of these too.
Okay.
Routine was thrown off this morning, just nothing major, but I walked out the door today without my Motorola 360 on my wrist. And I missed it so much throughout the day, not just as a time function. I wear a Fitbit because my company makes me, and it tells the time. So I just threw it on my wrist, on my left wrist, and so I could still tell time. But I missed every time my phone made a sound. I'm programmed to look at my watch to see what that was, and just little things like that happen 30 times throughout the day that when I'm wearing the watch, I don't even know I'm doing. But when I didn't have the watch, I found myself staring at my Fitbit with no information. And so it's just, once it's integrated into your life, it really is just that. It's a thing that becomes integrated into your everyday life. But it's not a fancy thing. It's not a gadget. I can't see that I would ever want to not have a smartwatch again. I'm hooked on that. I like that, the features that it brings, but none of them are killer apps. They just all together add up to be a killer app.
So you keep your phone in your pocket all day then?
Or laying face down on the desk beside me, usually playing a podcast. Because if it's in my pocket, it blocks the Bluetooth.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I've got my phone up on a little perch thing where the screen's facing me all day. So if it does anything, I look over. So maybe if I buried my phone, I don't know, man.
I don't know, but
why do you keep your phone down, face down? Is there a reason?
Because I live in a cube farm and I don't want people seeing what's on my phone.
Yeah, I understand that. I did put a link to a watch in the notes that I really came close to buy, but this is not the time of year I should be buying myself things. So I didn't. It's only a $25 watch, but it's a replica of the 007 GoldenEye laser watch from the Nintendo 64 game GoldenEye, and I think it looks awesome.
Those are just colored pieces of paper inside that watch?
I don't care. As long as it looks good, it can be anything.
Yeah, it looks good. I don't even know that game.
Oh my goodness. It was the first great multiplayer first-person shooter game on console that I can remember. And playing it now, it looks horrible. And I'm sure it plays laggy and slow and everything else. But at that time, let me tell you something. Proximity mines, rocket launcher, golden gun. Oh, man, that was the funnest thing. I mean...
There's only one left.
And trust me, that's probably a ploy. I'm pretty sure as soon as somebody buys one, oh, there's only one left.
Another one. Well, he's probably only got one made, and then he'll make another one.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen the movie GoldenEye to know.
GoldenEye itself wasn't a bad movie. I'll say that. There's more than a couple Bond movies I thought were not very good. That movie wasn't actually too bad. There was a couple of them right around that time I thought were okay. But that was, the 80s when big hair and flamboyant sexism was in the air.
The chat room says it's one of the greatest games ever, and I'm so deprived. Grenade launcher in the pyramid.
Yeah,
you must know what that means.
Yeah, a lot of people like the pyramid. I will say that. It was all the levels were the classic, multi-leveled. Sometimes there was holes in floors, and if you waited in the right spot and you looked up, you could just wait, and then when somebody runs by, shoot the grenade launcher, go up a level, hit them around a corner, explosion, death. And then at the end of the stage, whoever had the most kills won, kind of thing.
See, I never had a Nintendo, so I missed out on that whole genre.
Dude,
I've never owned a Nintendo.
You missed out on
anything.
The movie Ready Player One coming out, you're going to miss like a third of the references. I don't know.
Yeah, I tried reading the book, and I was missing the references.
Best book I've read in a long time. That one in the market.
Well, see, Mark, I still say I'm doing the only smart thing, which is not reading the book and not listening to the audiobook. I'll go watch the movie so that I won't be disappointed.
Absolutely.
And then if I like the movie, then I might, but I'm not listening to Will Wheaton. Okay, I'm not.
Well, no, I did the audiobook. And
yeah,
I don't think
Will Wheaton reads the audiobook.
I don't think he was the reason I was not staying into the audiobook. I really thought I would dig it, but I don't know, man.
I mean, there were people 20 years ago that, waited and their life's mission was to throw a cream pie in Bill Gates's face. Those kind of people. Well, I'm the kind of person that would wait at a comic convention for Will Wheaton to walk around the corner just so I can knee him in the crotch.
And say, shut up, Wesley.
Exactly. Because part of his face ruined my childhood. That's all I'm saying. Because that jerk got to be on the deck of a starship and me sitting in suburban Glen Burnie, eating microwave popcorn or whatever. Only got to watch it.
You were rich.
It was, I'm pretty sure, used from the flea market, and it was one of those gigantic ones that was literally like, 18 inches tall.
The Mana radar range, chrome.
But it had like 5-inch walls, so the actual cooking part was really actually small. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first time I ever saw a microwave, and my friend Mike had it, and he was trying to tell me how he could cook a hot dog in 30 seconds, and I'm like, you gotta be lying to me. I don't believe this. He went over to his house, and he showed me, and I was like, wow, what's going on there? My whole world right then.
That's magic. Yeah. I was really good at boiling water and making popcorn, not much else.
Making marshmallows like 3 times as big.
So we couldn't afford marshmallows.
Eggs explode. You can make eggs explode.
I know that sounded like a joke, but it really wasn't. I didn't have a marshmallow until I got in college. I grew up so very, very poor. We didn't have a phone. The cars we had lasted until they fell apart, and then we were without a car until we could buy another one that was about to fall apart. I never saw color television until I got to college. Yeah.
Was one of the cars a Pinto?
No, we did have a Plymouth Volare station wagon though.
Oh my goodness.
Volare, yes.
I can only imagine how many miles were on that thing.
Many.
That's where all my Nintendo time went. I was fixing cars the entire time everybody was playing Nintendo. I think that's what happened.
One last email from a couple, Karen and Dwayne. That's awesome. He says, hey guys, long initial email. Please forgive me. Long-time listener, first-time writer. Just listened to episode 490 and wanted to share a couple of things. I'm also a truck driver and used the Big Road app brought up in this show and can second the recommendation made by my fellow driver. I'm also going to offer one that I use daily. GPS is expensive for trucks, so I spent ages looking for a solution that didn't cost a fortune and finally found my 120 Truck Safe GPS. And I'll post a link to it right now in the chat room. It allows you to download the map so you don't need a connection to use it. And I've been satisfied user for months now. First of many app recommendations to come, if interested. Also, for more about general D&D goodness, you should listen to Eberron Renewed, available from thegeekpantheon.com. It's one of the better actual play podcasts and is less than 40 hours in, so you can get caught up if you want to start at the beginning. Tried dozens, and this one has excellent production value and is just an enjoyable story. If you want more, just ask. I can give you more of these as well. Nothing but podcasts all day, every day. Battery at 100% because it doesn't get unplugged. In the mail, Eric. Currently in Post Falls, Idaho, but not yesterday and not tomorrow.
Yes, keep the apps coming. I need to check this one out.
Yeah, I did. Oh, no, I did subscribe. I'm pretty sure I did go back and listen to episode 1, and I'll say there's only, I'm going to be nice. There's only 3 of them that I've found that I like. And the one constant about D&D podcast is, I think holds true in D&D, which is the rules are the rules, but the DM is the DM. And all the rules essentially play a backseat to how the DM wants to play the game. That's just the way D&D is. So that is one I like. I also like Pro Jared on YouTube is a part of a group called the Grumpy Gamers. And his podcast is called, I believe, Dragons in Places. It's like a horrible, horrible name. But it's actually a really good podcast where they don't strictly adhere to all D&D type rules, but they get pretty close. And it's pretty good. The other one is called the Adventure Zone, where they're completely in left field. They don't adhere to the rules, but they're just funny and not family friendly, whatever. Yeah. Dragons in Places is the one with Pro Jared. But there is some really good content out there. And if you understand very little about D&D and you're interested in it, those podcasts can help open your eyes on how a proper game of D&D should be played. And I did send this app to more than a couple of my trucker friends. One of them said, thank you, I use it. And two of them said, never seen it, thank you. And they were going to check it out.
This app, I know it's something. I've never driven a semi truck. I drove a box truck delivering bread for a while, but truck safe GPS navigation, that's just something I don't think the people who don't drive a semi, we don't think of that every day. You know, how our routes that we can take and Google Maps sends us are not the same routes that they can take and would be safe for them to travel on.
Plus, you don't need streaming data. That's a plus.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big plus, because there's plenty of roads they take where they have very little or no data for at least some length of time, unless they can afford multiple data plans. Because over here in this state, Verizon's king. Over in that state, AT&T is king. Every day they can experience a different quality of network.
Yeah.
It says turn-by-turn directions with voice prompts, heavy-duty truck directions, avoid low bridges, load limits, weight limits, dangerous turns, and truck-prohibited roads. Route based on your truck's size and the fastest or shortest route options. Real-time traffic. That's very cool.
Yes.
Nice one.
Yeah,
thank you, Dwayne.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that they're less than 40 hours in means Door could catch up tomorrow if he wanted to.
Well, I'm up to 3.5, pushing 3.x now.
And that's I never played D&D. I watched a few people do it. I never did that.
Okay, well then let me show you this. Remember, oh God, Eric, I'm afraid to ask this. Mark, I know knows. He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Right?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, well, this is what I 3D printed. It's a castle, gray skull, dice tower, which means the lid opens up. I can pour any number of dice in. Right now, let me turn this because it has a turning mechanism, so I can store my dice as well. So I just throw the dice in, and they come pouring out the mouth.
That's awesome.
So I don't need a wide area of space, and I can roll my dice and roll critical ones and do complete failures. I literally haven't played in 25 or 6 years.
So I don't know 20s.
So I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I'm having fun because the beautiful thing about D&D 5e, which is the newest one, is you can be much less of an expert and still have a hell of a lot of fun. It's not about the rules. It's not about the dice rolling. It's not about the characters. It's not about your ability scores. It's about the improvisational action adventure that's designed by the team and the dungeon master. It's just fun.
Well, my friend and former co-host of the Everyday Linux podcast, Chris Neves, has pretty much sold his soul to the gods of D&D at this point. That's all I ever see him talk about on Facebook. He's all into being the dungeon master. You might want to hook up with him sometime and play an online game or something, because that would make his lifetime to play a game with you, I think.
I will kindly roll. Hold on. Let me roll a 20-sided die. Do a charisma check here. 20. Actually, I'm very sad to say I actually rolled a 1, but I'm going to say I rolled a 20 because, I need a charisma check to pass, and I'm going to ask you to please forward me his email address, and I'm going to get my way because, we need more DM. Right now we have at least 7 people who are involved, and the person with experience, there's only one person with real experience, said for new people, we really should have 2 sets of campaigns going. each campaign having 4 to 5 people, no more, or else it gets really confusing for everybody quickly. So I will, with open arms, not only welcome a DM to come and beat the crap out of us, but I'll buy them books or high-end dice or something because we need another DM.
I want you to 3D print me one of those Castle Grayskulls. That's super cool.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, the exterior alone was 32 hours, and it's because I did it at a high resolution rate, but because it really wasn't designed to be 3D printed, his fangs are slightly messed up. So my buddy has a higher end, what's called slicing program, and he said, send me the file over, I'll properly slice it and put supports in, so next time I print it, I'll be able to print it better. I have to order purple filament though, Mark. Gray's not the right color for this. You know that.
So I didn't. I mean, I'm impressed that your 3D printer could make something that tall. Most of the ones I've seen can't print something.
Mine can do 13 by 13 by 15 inches. So I can easily print a small office trash can.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Right, so
that looks beautiful. You may say the fangs are messed up. From me seeing it, I can't tell anything's messed up.
Don't get me wrong, it is not messed up. There's just 1 or 2 little things that could have came out better. Is the logic, I'll say. Let me order the right filament. Honestly, right now, like you said, it's a horrible time to order anything. Let me order the right color filament because it has to be the right color purple too. It can't be light. It can't be bright. It can't be dull. It has to be that right color purple. When I get that right color purple, I'll happily print you up one.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
I'm not even that big into He-Man. It's just that cool.
Well, one of my buddies, Liam Tidwell, who is on the Makers podcast, which is on podnutz.com. If you want to learn more, check it out. He, I think, isolated the gene for 3D printing exquisitely. He said it is a perfect nostalgia recreation machine. If there's anything in the past that you have like a warm spot in your heart for, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's Lego bricks, whether it's He-Man, whether it's Legend of Zelda, whether it's SpongeBob, whether it's anything, you can get a 3D printer, and if you tune it right, you tweak it right, you buy good filament, you'll be able to recreate something that you couldn't have pictured in your head looking that good.
Mm-hmm.
You remember, you guys are probably about the right age, the Shogun Warrior battle mechs.
Mm-hmm.
You remember those? They shot lasers out of or missiles out of their fingers and stuff.
Yeah.
That I had one of those. It was one of my fondest childhood memories, was that Shogun Warrior battle mech. It was, like some kids have their blankets or their favorite stuffed animal. For me, it was that Shogun Warrior. I slept with it. I bathed with it. I took it everywhere with me when I was like 5 years old. He was my little robotic buddy. I hadn't thought of him in a long time until you said childhood nostalgia. It's like that's the thing. I bet I can.
Mine was a Fonz shirt, but I don't know if I can print that.
It'd be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, and the one thing I'll say, Mark, is there are people, two things I forgot. One, Thingiverse app on Android, last time I downloaded it, you cannot download STL files. To me, makes the app worthless. The whole point of browsing Thingiverse is to download STL files so you can print them. Number 2.5. Thingiverse is like the Craigslist of 3D printing. You never know what you're going to get there. You can get some of the worst designed things ever, and they come out horrible on your printer, or you might get lucky and find the right thing. On Patreon, there's a guy called Jeffrey Hexen 3D who spends unbelievable amounts of hours by hand, small batch, locally sourced, crafting Voltron casts that actually move, fold, and form Voltron, and the sword and the shield. So me, join his Patreon, throw money right at him, and I'm printing that thing. Like, as soon as I'm done printing Megatron, I'm like halfway done printing Megatron. I'll wait to show you till he's done.
This is the guy. I found him on eBay while you were talking. This was my little buddy. I just put it in the chat room there. That I never went anywhere without.
$10. Get bidding, man.
Yeah, I need to. I need to just make it mine. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did he have the Chinese writing on his belt?
Yes.
Nice. I'm trying to find a 3D print STL. I'm not able to find one. I'm sure there's a name I'm not saying right. Because that's the thing with 3D printers. You can imagine anything from an adult-oriented, after-hours entertainment private device to a SpongeBob cake cutter. I mean, anything you can imagine, you can find the STL for and to print it.
All right, guys, I think it's time to wrap it up. Eric, you want to bring your last lame app for us?
Oh, sure.
It was a weird app. It wasn't lame app. I'm sorry. I shouldn't put words in your mouth.
No, it's pretty lame. You must have hacked into my computer to see Splish Splash Pong game. Basically, this is like Frogger and Pong put together. Basically, you just got to run this fish back and forth in between two goals, and there's like sharks and stuff swimming back and forth, and you just tap to reverse direction, and that's it. Constantly going back and forth, and just got to avoid things. It's a very tough game.
Okay,
that's about yeah.
Like Flappy Bird, but sideways.
Not quite Flappy. No, I don't know if it's like Flappy Bird. I guess it's similar though.
That's actually nothing like Flappy. Well, it kind of is.
Flappy Bird. Yeah, Flappy Bird's different. Sort of, I guess. I didn't think of it that way before. It's like Pong. I don't know. You can't go left and right though. It's just up and down.
All right, Dor, you got a crowning app you'd like to cap the show off with?
Not particularly.
I can bring another one if you want.
Okay.
Well, Dor was talking 3D printing, so I had to bring this one because we might not talk about 3D printing on this show. If you do like 3D printing, go check out the makers. This is called Thinger. So this is the other fun app that you can show your cousin. Okay. Thinger is an app. It's basically Tinder for 3D models for your 3D printer. You swipe left on the things you don't like. You swipe right on the things you like, and then you can also save the ones you really want to make note of for later. Dora, are you familiar with this app?
I cannot say I am. I'm trying to.
And you can. I think you may be able to download STL files. It does take things from other Well, no, I guess it just links you to where they found it at. But it searches Thingiverse and a couple other websites to find all these 3D printed things. Some of the find hot models for your lonely 3D printer. That's the tagline for it. So that pretty much says it all.
Not scary at all.
But there's some good stuff in here.
Oh, sorry, it is. I'm sorry. I meant it is.
Wonder Woman. I'm just going to go through real quick. A Wonder Woman tiara headband. I'm going to say we love that. Linklings, which are little people who you can put together in a chain formation. You'd love to print that, right?
Yeah, my kid would love this.
Chip from Beauty and the Beast cup with a nose that's the handle. Yeah, flip knife business card kit. Lego Man toilet. Lego Man toilet paper holder. How about that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll love that. Yeah, and then you just swipe left if you don't like them. But it's a good way to get ideas. I mean, if you want to know what kind of 3D printed stuff's out there, this is a neat way to look through it without hitting search, just to see random stuff.
Okay. Door, the app you were going to bring before Eric interrupted you.
Okay. The one I'm going to bring is a very self-serving app, basically called Total Keto Diet. This is maybe the best app I've been able to find that will let me discover is the way I'll put it, new foods that are safer for me to ingest. I'm a pit or a pedestal. I don't know if this sounds like I'm repeating myself. I'm a pit or a pedestal kind of guy. Back in March, I was diagnosed with being diabetic. I wasn't diagnosed with diabetes, but I keep telling people I am just to simplify the conversation. But I was classified with diabetes, and if I did not do something immediately, I would be on full blown insulin. Blah 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 blah. So I instantly cut out all carbs. I eat less than 60 grams of carbs a day. I eat less than 3 grams of sugar a day, which means I'm very restrictive in what I consume. No breads, no grains, no rice, no pastas, no nothing like that whatsoever. A lot of vegetables I actually can't eat because they have carbs. Can't eat any fruit. Basically, meat, cheese, bacon, eggs are the primary things I can eat. And with this application, I'm at least able to find different types of foods that put together in ways that I wasn't even aware of doing. This isn't like the spiritual guy on YouTube making a vegan pizza out of nothing more than cucumber slices and then pureed cucumbers and then cucumbers grated for cheese. No, this isn't like that. This is actual foods put together differently. Sometimes to mimic a little bit like bread in certain circumstances. And it's actually editable. One of the things I found I thought was fantastic. My wife said it was close to a quiche. It was lots of chorizo sausage, which I always pronounce wrong. Sorry. Chorizo sausage, eggs, peppers, onions, couple other things thrown in there, and then basically thrown into the oven and then cut like a brownie. A little bit of sriracha or hot sauce on top, and that sausage is a thing of beauty, is all I'm going to say.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely into that. I lost over 100 pounds with a low carb diet. Not fully keto, but you get pretty bored eating the same things all the time. And this picture here of chocolate chip waffles definitely looks like something I could sink my teeth into and maybe be satisfied with.
Yeah, I'll say one of the bread things I looked at, I'm trying to remember what it was in the main component, because you can't have flour, basically.
Usually it's almond flour or something like that instead.
Yeah, that might have been it. I can't remember, but either way, I didn't get a chance to try it yet. And it's because of this. I'm actually not trying to change my wife's and family's eating habits just because my life changes. I'm not trying to put them too far into the world of discomfort, if you will. So I still cook rice and stuff for them when I can. So whenever I try a new food, it almost has to be one of the things that they wouldn't mind eating.
Rhino in the chat room suggests a chorizo sausage fight.
Things are getting spicy.
Chorizo's great, actually. I can't eat it too much because stomach acid and stuff, but good stuff. It's yummy.
I'm just going to let that awkward silence hang. All right, let me wrap up the apps of the night. Father.io, augmented reality first-person shooter by Proxy42 Inc. Space Sloth by Kevin and Kim. Streets of Rage Classic by Sega. Sausage Legends Fighting Game by Milk Company Limited. Wearable Widgets by Udell Enterprises Incorporated. My 120 Truck Safe GPS by 120 Inc. Splish Splash Pong by Happy Magenta UAB. Thinger 3D printing models discovery by Ben Novak. Total Keto Diet by Total Diet. And that's it. So there you go. There's the apps of the night, along with lots of listener feedback and some random discussions that, frankly, got a little uncomfortable for all of us.
I don't know. Not me. I think it was good. Good discussions tonight.
So, Eric, any final words of wisdom that you'd like to leave the audience with for the remainder of the week? What's the one thing that you want the audience to leave here thinking about for a whole week?
Think about coming to Orlando, Florida, February 8th through 10th. And Dor and I will be down there for PodFest 2018. Come say hi to us, and let's go out and find some keto food together or something.
Oh, Eric, there's a place just south and just west of where we're staying. I was told we have to go there. It's called the Ice Bar, where on your way in, they hand you coats if you need it. You walk in, everything's made out of ice, and all they serve is vodka. Just saying.
No. That's not what I go to Orlando for. I can get that at home.
Oh, you're right.
In February, that's exactly what I don't want to do, is be anywhere close to ice.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. If we want to go, if you want to go, I'll go there.
Well, I'm just going to
Podfest Southwest.
It's called Podfest. I put the link in the chat. It's called Podfest Media Expo 2018.
I am putting that in my calendar. I'm going to be there.
Right on, man.
Awesome. And I'll say this: part of the reason me and Eric are going is to hang out with Steve C. Part of my reason for going is to basically troll the entire podcast community with a shirt that's going to say something to the effect of podcasters must give 30% of all money earned from podcast back to other podcasters. Just to see how much hate I can get, because I think that's one of the problems right now with podcasters is as soon as podcasters get money, me guilty too, first thing you do is you go out and spend it on either selfish things or things on your team members, but you don't spend the money back into the podcasting universe like I personally think people should.
It's a good idea.
Well, I mean, if it's uncomfortable asking for advertisers on your show, maybe you should be advertising other podcasts.
I'm down for that too. Yes. Yep. I do like listening to podcasts as much as I like being on one. I think we all do.
Yeah, that's within driving range for me. I can take a couple of days off of work and go hang out. Yeah, that sounds like something I'll do.
Very cool.
The chat room has ideas for the shirt I'm going to wear there, but I don't know if they're correct.
All right, Dor, your final words of wisdom for the evening.
Thanks everybody for everything. Mark, Eric, I love you guys. I really hope you and your family have the best holiday season you've ever had.
All right. And I will say, go to patreon.com/Android App Addicts. Stand up and be counted among those that support the DoorToDoorGeek and podcasting in general. Also, selfishly, if you got any Christmas shopping left to do, elementop.com/Amazon. Use that link, buy your stuff. I make money. Everybody's happy. The people who get the stuff's happy. I'm happy because I got money. You're happy because you gave me money. I don't know how that works, but they tell me everybody will be happy. So we'll just go with that. All your wildest dreams are about to come true. Thanks, everybody. Guys, as always, thanks for letting me hang out with you. This is one of my favorite parts of the week. And listeners, thank you for being with us. It would literally be a little weird if we did this every week without you. So weirder than it already is. So you kind of make this thing seem respectable, kind of. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week, because that's it for this episode of the Android App Addicts podcast.
Stopping Audacity. It sounded like you had a happy ending.
Do you want to do the intro recording?
Let me think.
No. I always forget to tell you in the beginning, don't forget, because during the show you could think, oh yeah, that. Oh yeah, that.
Okay. I'm ready. Door Trolls podcasters, Eric whips his sausage out, and more on this week's episode of Android App Addicts.
Whoa.
Pretty sure that covered it.
Yeah. Dang.
Okay, I'm installing Thinger now. Why didn't you tell me about this before, jerk?
What?
Why didn't you tell me about this app before, jerk? Instead of
I'm
pulling
not
it out
gonna-
on me.
I'm not gonna.
It's almost like you're pulling your sausage out, and I'm not ready.
Don't bring. Don't talk about 3D printing on the Android App Addicts show. So hey, man, I was waiting for the right time, and it was definitely
That's
the right
my
time.
point. You could have just said, "Hey, I don't know, maybe like how I say, hey, this looks like an Eric app," and I send you an email.
Door, how long do you think I've had this app installed? It hasn't been that long.
Knowing you got it from Aaron or somebody a week ago, and
No, I honestly, I have had it for a while. I hadn't used it. As soon as I found out I was getting a 3D printer, I downloaded every app I could that had to do with 3D printing, and that was one of them.
My computer is serenading you.
Show titles? Well, yeah.
I'm still documenting the apps because the whole time I'm sitting there trying to find. Now, I think I misspoke. I think the Hex 3D guy, and I did put the link to his Patreon in the show. I think he's actually a different guy than the guy who did the Voltron, which I also linked in the chat in the YouTube video. You watch that YouTube video. Wow, is all I got to say. That guy did such a good job. It's frigging crazy how good of a job he did.
This is quickly becoming one of my favorite parts of the show. Unfortunately, oh, I love it. Family first because they're close enough to kill you. When Google pulled out.
Wow. That can be a subtitle, I'll say.
Get to get the redneck out and use a chainsaw.
It's almost like he's getting paid for this or something.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Talk to Aunt Ruth about her body issues.
I want somebody to come into the chat and try to compete with him.
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, that's true. That would be a good challenge.
Because it's going to be ugly. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be ugly.
Unrussell your jimmies. That was a great one. I don't even know what it means, but it was a great blurb there.
Really quick, Mark, did you already close up all the apps in your box? Okay, how many apps did you say we had?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11 because I did the hardware.
Okay.
As one, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And yeah, I did the wearable watch thing too. Yeah, because everything else looks right. Father IO, Space Sloth, Streets of Rage, Sausage, Wearable, My 120, Finger, Splish Splash, Total Keto. Oh, I did My 120 twice. That's why. Let's cancel that. Let's not do that twice. Okay, so that's good. I didn't do it twice. Okay, now let me do this. I gotta do
Don't want to see my cousin's sausage. You and your cousins could be sausage legends.
Yeah, we were pretty heavy on the sausage.
well, I mean, it kind of, invited itself.
Dora, but you brought it back around with the chorizo, man. I was like, yeah, that's the way to finish it. The sausage of all sausages is chorizo.
Callbacks. Yeah.
Just so damn good. And the wife is okay with it. She likes it too.
If your sausages are touching, oh, that's what, yeah. Thanks. We didn't need all that information, Dor. If your sausages are touching, I don't think intimacy is a problem.
I think you just end it right there. If your sausages are touching, ...
Android app novice.
Got that. Now I got to do this. Now I got to go back and redocument the ones I didn't bring. I got to say this stuff out loud, or I'll completely screw up, and then next week be very low on apps.
No worries, man. We'll ignore you like always. It's fine.
You hated it.
This is a good release for us.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think of that app. Yeah, you send me. You said Chris is the guy.
Ride round, baby, ride round.
You send me Chris's information or just an email to both of us. You know what I mean? And I will see if he's interested.
You talking who? What?
Mark with about the DM.
Josh in the chat room sounds like he's down to DM too.
Josh, how many times you DM, bro? Do you even lift? But no, Mark, you and the guy. It was Chris, right? You said.
Yes.
I heard it, but then once you said he likes DM, hurt. Couldn't get that out of my head. You could have said Barack, my buddy who was in the United States, likes the DM, and I would have just heard likes the DM.
Oh, now Josh is doing the mixes now. He's talking to Aunt Ruth about her body issues. Talking to Aunt Ruth about her body issues when Google pulled out. Tinder for 3D models is not.
Tinder for 3D models is kind of, accurate, I'm going to say. Call me crazy. Okay, so I did install that app, and I got all that. So now let me
tell you this. Josh doesn't want to DM. He wants to play.
Exactly. Here's the thing.
Nobody wants to DM? That's
No. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say.
But the people who like to DM like to DM.
A lot. because it's very hard to explain to a non-D&D person, Eric. It's essentially this. The DM is the guy that makes the setting. The characters fill the house. You know what I mean? The DM picks the walls, the exterior, the overall size and shape, and the players say, I want a TV, I want a couch. So it is a very cooperative thing.
I've been watching Stranger Things, dude.
I'm sorry. Oh, I wasn't going to say that out loud.
I know there's a Gorgonzola or whatever it is.
Show is so bad. You got to connect with email, so you got to create an account.
Demogorgon.
I'm sorry. Did you cough, Eric? I tried to watch like 4 episodes of that thing. I can't watch that.
Did you see the bad lip syncing version?
Oh my god, that was so good. That was so good.
Well, I don't like bad lip syncing because it gets too. It could be so much better. They just get silly and just. They could be better. There's something about them that just don't. I don't know. The silliness of it is just some of the stuff. They're doing really good, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, bleh.
Well, it has ups and downs. I will say that. There are parts of them that are really funny.
Yeah. And they should stick to that part.
I liked when they were in the sheriff's office singing a song back and forth to each other.
Yeah. Is that towards the beginning of it?
Middle beginning, yes.
Was the sheriff singing?
It was the sheriff and the lady.
Yeah, and the lady, yes. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was really good.
I thought that was good. Yeah. Here's one of the things that you can print, Mark, that I think is really interesting. Since you're printing on a glass bed, typically a glass bed, that side has the opportunity to be perfectly flat and smooth. So, and you can print in semi-pliable materials. So what you can do is, even with one nozzle, the cheapest printer, you can open up the end code in a text editor. You can type in commands at certain spots, and they can be stop commands. And you can have a print that stops at key points. At key points, you pull the filament out, you put new filament in, and you can have like a Homer Simpson head. You can have a Homer Simpson head print out with 4 different colors using a printer that only prints one color by doing that stop technique. So you can get really intricate with it. My one buddy printed, like one of the things he printed, which I was shocked how good it looked, was signs to hang on his door because it's printed on glass. You walk up to it and you just stick it on and it sticks around the glass, and it's his business hours. You know what I mean? Open time, close time. And unless you look really close at it, you have no idea that it's printed off a printer. So he has a completely custom sign that would have cost him, anywhere from $10, $20, cost him in his time and effort, less, I would say.
Yeah, so I'm looking at these things on eBay, these Shogun Warriors. They're going for $500.
Oh, my.
Oh, man. Get in on that $9.99. Oh, that $9.99 one's already $15.50. Did you start bidding on that?
That's because I bid on it. Yeah. I bid $15 to see what happened. It jumped immediately $15.50. I bet if I put $90 in there, it'd jump immediately to $100.
Yeah,
wow.
So I'm just going to watch that one. It's still got 5 days on it. If it gets to the end and it's, anything under 50, I'm in on it, but I'm not willing to pay more than that. But I definitely could 3D print one of those guys.
Yeah, 50, I'd say it's a fair price. And Eric, in this app of yours, if you click the little eye icon, it takes you to where you can download the STL.
Yeah, but if that is Thingiverse is where it takes you to, it comes up with that Creative Commons thing, but it doesn't download
because they're using the wrong browser preference. So then, if you save the link and open it up on a desktop browser, it will download.
Oh yeah, okay, that's true.
All right, gentlemen, it is long past time for me to be asleep. So,
all right, thank you, Mark. Dumb question. You upload?
Yes, should be there already.
Thank you.
You even upload, bro?
I still haven't even stopped my recording yet.
I also had the Godzilla that sticks his rubber tongue out. I just saw it. I think Shogun Warriors also. Yeah. Had a red trigger on the back of his skull that when he pushed it, his tongue stuck out.
Nice.
There's the one that I'm looking at. The trigger's broken off, as mine was as well.
Huh. The only toy I remember from a kid, it was Stretch Armstrong and the green one, the monster one.
I had the Stretch Armstrong too. These cheap toys, those were, I usually got them used most of the time.
Right.
Good stuff, man. It's a walk down memory lane. Oh, this one's missing. You could launch the rocket arms. This one's missing one of the arms, and the thing that makes the tongue go out is broken, and they still want $100 for it.
Damn. Dumb question. You guys have a preferred show title picked out?
I don't know. Which was the one I liked? I can't scroll up for some reason. There we go.
How about sausages?
I like Tinder for 3D models. But nah, what else do you think? Sausage.
It was if your sausages are touching ... I like that one.
Okay, hold on.
When Google pulled out is good too.
Yeah. Unrustle your jimmies is good too.
It's like a train wreck is, accurate.
Yeah. That could be any show though. That's not specific to this one.
All right. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. See you guys.
All right. See you later, Mark. Thanks.
Okay. And my throat is starting to hurt too. I felt it. I definitely felt my voice starting to go.
You sounded compressed for some reason. Maybe that's just your sore throat.
And a couple times I went into my PAVU control and clicked mute mic, and I hacked more than just a little bit, I'll say.
Star Wars TIE Fighter Gen 2 print. That'd be all right.
Did you just assume it's gender?
It says Gen 2.
Oh, Gen 2. Okay. That's the one. That. My neck is killing me, man. Okay, so now come here. Sort. Bang, bang, bang. Oh my. Try that again. Contrape. Copy is too difficult. Contrape. And now we come here. We select file for upload. Man, my eyes are bugging out.
Man, I knew I was getting a 3D printer, and I bought some glass sheets. They were Kodak old glass sheets from a estate sale.
Okay.
And then I never used them. I was just using my bed, right? Not putting a glass sheet on it because the bed's heated. I didn't know if it would work. So I sent them to Goodwill. And then I heard you guys talking about you using binder clips to hold the glass sheet to your bed. And I'm like, shoot, I should not have gotten rid of those.
Well, it has to be the right kind of glass, too. You have to ask Liam.
Oh, does it? Okay. This might not have been. This was like some kind of Kodak photo glass. I don't even know what it was originally for. There were 5x7 sheets.
I don't know. I just know Liam said if you don't have the right kind of glass, either A, stuff won't stick to it, B, stuff will stick to it, you'll never get it off, or C, when you heat it up, it will extremely warp.
Okay. Well, that's good then. I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, so I am liking this app, Eric, so far at least.
Yeah, but sometimes I go the wrong way with it, and I'm like, I want that back.
So I missed the first tool text tip. Left, you don't like it. Right, you like it. Does up and down do anything?
No, but the middle one, you hit that bookmark one, and that'll keep a nice list of ones you really like. I mean, you can go back and look at the things you liked, but then you can look at the things you
Gotcha. Like the bookmarks.
Yep.
Wow.
So the ones you really like is called print in the hamburger menu.
Gotcha.
Look at that. I thought about Johnny on that one. She always made those.
Yes,
that's pretty cool. Huh?
Oh, my belly. Crikey. Quick shoe ties.
Yeah.
My kids suck at tying shoes. One of them literally said, "Damn, why does it have to be so complicated?" To which my wife said, "'Cause it's not." Uh-huh.
Just like Tinder, I feel 3D printing is destroying our relationship.
I'm not going to comment to that, Eric.
I like it. No, that's Josh says it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, crikey, I am ready to fall out, man. Playable guitar.
Playable guitar.
Yeah, that's what it says. Playable guitar, printable without supports. 2 words. Uh-huh. I don't think you know what that word means, is what I would say to the guy who uploaded this.
Hey, Door, it's the Philenium Malkin.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Tool brackets. There's always tool brackets for whatever printer you have.
Yeah, I've done a couple little modifications to my printer, little additions, the filament threader. I have not bought a ticket for Linux Fest Northwest yet. I'm
No,
running
I don't even think they sold them yet. I
days.
think they literally just announced the date like last week.
Yeah, I've see. I used to have unlimited vacation time. Now I have to stay within the realms of 2 weeks at this point.
Well, you say that. I'll say I just spent over $600 in the last 2 weeks on conferences. I ain't buying no tickets anytime soon.
No, yeah. Josh asked me if I bought a ticket from
Yeah.
Linux Fest Northwest.
Is it readable?
And Crank version 2. Wow.
That's
if that dude
interesting. That's bookmark.
says Airline Door tickets are free because they don't charge to get in that one.
Oh, that's right. As long as you pre-register. But if you wait till that day, I believe it's $20. Which, of course, half the time I didn't register on purpose just so I could have a undistinguishable reason. I got to give you $20.
Yeah,
I believe it was $20.
that is an awesome time. Let's see what days is that again. Look at that.
April 28th, I believe.
See, that's not going to be good.
It's either the very last weekend of April or first week of December. One or the other.
Because my 2 weeks of vacation renews May 1st with the fiscal year.
Oh, damn. That sucks, Eric.
April 28th through the 29th. Oh, that's even more rubbing it in.
I knew it was right there.
Well, I don't know. I might still have a couple days left. I'm only using 3 for
Well, you can't work on
Orlando.
the weekend?
Huh?
Can't work on the week. I mean, you have to still work on the weekend?
No. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for Orlando. I got 5 left right now.
Right, but what days of the week is Northwest?
Oh, yeah, good point. Good point.
Ooh, SR-71A Blackbird. That looks pretty. Small quadcopter robot. I'm sorry. Small quadruped robot. Interesting.
Wow. How is Google Calendar not the first link that comes up when you type in calendar in Google in Chrome for me? That's crazy.
I don't know, because they were sued, maybe? I don't know.
There's no other calendar I'm going to want to look at other than maybe my Outlook one.
Oh, same here.
April 20. What days was that?
That's nice. I like that. Laptop charger cable wrap. You print it and it hugs your brick and then gives you a place to wrap the cable.
That's cool.
That's really smart. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, it is Saturday and Sunday.
There you go. So after work Friday, head out. We can come pick you up.
That would be
Drinky,
cool.
play some disc golf because I'm not
I-
calling it frisbee golf.
I do owe some frisbee golf playing to the man in the tub. Dude, if I can get the flight out there for as cheap as I got last time.
I know that was crazy.
And if
That
I'm
was
only going out there for a couple of days, I could totally get even cheaper bag rate too.
Gotcha. Yeah, so one thing I worry about booking the flight to Orlando, because when it says $100, I'm thinking I'm gonna have like $100 in bag fees.
Yeah, I don't know. I booked my flight. I didn't because when I was looking at mine, the prices were only going up, and there's only like one seat left on one way and 2 seats left coming back.
Did you check the bag fees?
$25
That ain't bad.
for a checked baggage. I don't even need that.
I ain't checking shit.
Because United, it's not like it's Spirit. You know what I mean? It's more of a normal airline.
I could agree with that.
I have Wi-Fi in the big jets both ways. The small ones I don't. If I want it. Well, I got free Wi-Fi. Yeah, I don't know if they use Go, whatever that thing was I showed you today.
Oh, it's worthless.
Is it?
It's worthless.
That was that was Google Project Fi's Christmas present this year. Was that?
Yeah, you go to any web page, it takes minimum 5 minutes for it to load. At least that's how it was the last time I tried it.
Yeah, I'll probably listen to some podcasts. That's about it. All right, we go get some more tacos in Washington.
Oh man, I don't think I will.
I did like that place we had the conference at though. Out on the
college.
point. Yeah, we went out to that one place. We drove out to that other spot.
Yeah.
And I wish it wasn't raining that whole time. That would have been kind of cool to hang out that place.
Dude,
but
that's like saying I wish it wasn't cold in your neighborhood.
Right. I know. You can't ask for that too much there.
I gotta stop looking at all these effing things. I mean, fidget spinner immediately dislike.
Yeah, right. Same here. Yeah. So I would probably fly to Portland again, you think, then?
Oh my God, it's so much cheaper. You try to fly up by there, it's going to cost minimum like $300 one way. I learned that the hard way. Yeah, you got to fly to Martin's neck of the woods.
So you guys would hang out at Martin's and only head up there on that. I don't want somebody to drive all the way back.
Right now, I can't tell you.
Yeah, so I'll wait until we get closer to that. Because yeah, the flights aren't cheap anyway.
Yeah, I'll say technically you could fly into SeaTac on the right day, around the right time kind of thing, and we could pick you up.
Right
there kind of thing on the way up if time is tight kind of thing. So I'm going to put this here, Eric. Oh my goodness. Oh man. I really don't want to go to work tomorrow, but I have so much crap I got to do.
I would, you know what? I would start that with the word and then move the Tinder part after touching.
Say that again.
So
just read what it should say.
Should say, and if your sausages are touching, Tinder for 3D models.
You sure?
Yeah. Unless you want to leave the and off. I think no, leave the and on. And if your sausages are touching, Tinder for 3D models. Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, wait at least 30 seconds for that lag.
Oh yeah, the that reminds me of a VeggieTales. Did you kids ever listen to VeggieTales?
Hell no, you don't do Veggie Tales.
There's a song by the VeggieTales that says, "Is that my imagination or does Aunt Ruth have a beard?" What's CTAX? S T. No, CTAX. CA? Seattle, yeah.
Aunt Bunny from Eddie Murphy. Yeah. Aunt Bunny fell down the steps. Okay, I have to now do this before I forget. Okay, which means I come here, SoundCloud, AAA, I copy Mark and Eric, and I come over here to bang, bang, bang. I also need to copy this back over here. Yes. Okay, that's correct.
This is a tough one. It's usually obvious what we should do.
If you say so. I'm not convinced of that. Oh man.
Let's just put when Google pulled out. I don't remember what we're talking about.
Google removing stuff from the Amazon stuff. See, did Josh even say the Google pulled out thing? Talking with Aunt Ruth about her body issues when Google pulled out. That's one that Josh said that I like. What did he say? Hold on. If your sausages are touching, I did if your sausages are touching, I did get to redneck out. I did get to redneck out if your sausages are touching. Talking to Aunt Ruth about her bodily issues when Google pulled out. That one to me kind of flows.
It's pretty nasty, though.
Really, Eric? Now you're going to worry about a big nasty.
My mind's eye, man. Just these. You shouldn't be talking to your Aunt Ruth when Google pulls out.
Oh well. Okay, talking to Aunt Ruth about her body issues. Well, talking to your Aunt Ruth about her body issues, like if your sausages are touching, is just as bad.
How about that jerk got to sit on the deck of the starship? Starship. That jerk got to sit on the deck of a starship. I like that one.
I didn't even see him say that.
Yeah. F95827.
Adult after hours device. I had to think of a way to say it.
How about Tinder for hot 3D models? Let's throw the word hot in there because that's what it said in the description.
No, it didn't.
It did too.
That is bad. That is bad.
It's the very first find hot models for your lonely 3D printer.
Let me show you. Let me show me. Let me show me. Show you. Offense sausage. Offense sausage. Offensive. I can't even say it. Right above it.
Yeah, I couldn't get that. Josh, you need to clarify that one.
It is
It's
close.
close.
It's very close.
Where was that one at? What's the timestamp?
56 or 51, I believe. No, right beneath that. 5710. That's what I got. Because I showed tenths of seconds. So it's the first 57 one.
Let me show you.
Yeah. Sorry.
Let me show you offense sauce.
It's right there. And here he typed, let me show you offense sausage. Offense sausage. Offense sausage. It's right there. Offense sausage. Offense sausage. Oh my goodness.
that jerk got to sit on the deck of the starship talking to Aunt Ruth about her body issues.
Is that it?
What do you think of that, dude? I like that jerk got to sit on the deck of the starship talking to Aunt Ruth about her body issues. That's not bad.
Okay. I gotta check this out. Finally done. Okay, so now first let me go to Patreon.
Well put together, Josh. Thank you for helping us out there. that app says it's got 400,000 plus printables on it.
Well, it's easy. They just all they have to do is scrape Thingiverse. They have everything they need.
They scrape Thingiverse, Yegi, RepRap, Facebook groups, and more. They say.
Yeah, so really it's just Yegi is all they got to scrape because that scrapes everything else, I believe. Okay. Posted to Patreons. Let me just make sure I typed everything right. Yep. Okay. So
Winter sausage dinner.
Okay. Brain. I have to stop the stream so I can finish the editing of the
I gotta get going anyway, dude. I hear activities going on upstairs. So
all right, man.
thanks,
All right,
Josh.
guys. Thank you very much, Josh. Take it easy, guys.